So when we are supposed to use with this term that is called as constructor, and now here we are seeing it for inheritance, it will be having these terms with you. That is what, if a base class have a constructor, then it is mandatory to have constructor in the derived class. Because it will be having a, we'll see with the number of possibilities how it will be done, permutations, and with the different combinations how it will be done. The base constructor is executed first, then derived class constructor it will be. So first we are going to have it that. So while creating the object, we are creating the object of derived class. But while constructor it will be created, it is created for first base class and then it is for derived class. Okay. Now here we are having with the, we are going to see it for the different type of inheritances, this constructor how it is executed for multi-level, for single inheritance, for multiple inheritance. Because for many situations, for many inheritances, how we are using the constructor, that will matters. Okay, because depending on that, your calling sequence or constructor, the space which will be reserved, that will be changing. Okay. Now, these are some important points related with the constructor that we need to remember specifically for derived class, and if I'm talking it about single inheritance, this it will be. That is, a derived class need not have a constructor as long as the base class has no arguments constructor. Okay, so it will be expected with the arguments. We are going to see with that also. Constructor with arguments and constructor without argument. Okay, then if the base class has a constructor with arguments, then it is mandatory, it is required in the derived class also we need to pass the arguments. Okay, so why these are things are required, असंच का किंवा why we are expecting that we need to follow these rules. Okay, when an object of derived class is created, the constructor of the base class is executed first and then constructor of the derived class. Okay, but if we talk about destructor, it will be done at its reverse. First, the allocation of derived class will be done, and then your base class, main class that you are going to refer. Okay, so these are the conditions that we are going to see. First, that is a no constructor. If I'm not having any constructor in the base class and derived class, you'll be having your regular example. You can continue with that. But if you are having the constructor, now what is the syntax for this? We are going to say it as it will be having the constructor. So best way for getting you or to identify in the program, which is whether it is having constructor or not, identify a function which is having with the same name as like your class name. The simplest way to whether your program is having a constructor or not. That is, if I'm having a function with the same name as your class name, then I can say it as it will be having a constructor. And that definition I'm writing it inside that same class only. Okay. So it will be having this definition as some print out statement, that is a no arguments constructor for this it will be displayed. And it is acquiring for this for the class B, and in the main you are going to just create the object of this derived class. Okay, so what it will be output for this program, there is a simple one statement, no arguments. We are going to have a constructor. So it will be a simple uh, way of introducing a constructor only in the base class. Okay, so it will work. There is no issue for this. Now, third possibility, that if I'm going to have, so just repeat here, if we'll be having with the constructor only in the derived class, so what it will be possibility that, so that means what, initially what we have done, we have created the constructor for base class. Here we are creating it for derived class, and what output it will be shown. So it can show with the same output, no arguments. So see out statement what we are having, and same sequence it will be followed for this. Okay. So we'll see with this both examples how it will be done. So with these examples. Yes. So we'll see the output for this examples, what output it is showing, so that you can able to get this. So we'll see the first example. There is a constructor only, it is in the base class. So we'll remove comments for this. So here if you can observe this, so it is having a constructor only in the base class. So we'll include this one. Hope you are able to see this window. Okay. So output it will be no arguments constructor of the base class. Okay, now if I'll change it with this what, that is, if I'll do it the constructor only as a part of my derived class, so we need to give the same function name, and while calling there is no issue. Okay, so it is an argument constructor. We'll make it, just change it so that we need to get changes in the output, you need to see. So I'm just changing the statement, there is no issue for this. So this statement it is executed it for. So third possibility it will be what, that is if I'm having a first, that is no any constructor in the base and derived. Second possibility it will be if I'm having with constructor only as a part of my base class, and third possibility is a part of my derived class. If I'm having with the both the things, that is if it will be part of a base class also, and if it will be possibility of derived class. So what it will be having, that we'll see. It is of base class, then we'll see. And so main, in the main, no need to make any changes for this. Now here I'll do the slash n so that you can see the difference. What it is. Okay, so as you can observe this, in the main what we are doing, we are created the object of derived class only, which is inheriting the property. But constructor, when it will be called, it is called for first as a part of your base class, then it will be calling it for derived class. So sequence, it is for single inheritance. We are going to see it for different possibilities also. So this is a fourth possibility that we are going to have. It is for constructor, calling sequence of the constructor. Means what, when your compiler will identifies what it will do, it will goes for this main, and it will identify that it is having with the class B, which is acquiring the properties of A. It will be first make the call for the constructor of base class, then constructor of derived class. Okay, so this it will be followed as a your fourth condition. Hope you are getting the things. And we'll see with one more possibility, and we'll sorry, I'll share with this first PPT. Okay, so this is your third with the constructor in the derived class. Fourth possibility is what, which we have seen already, constructor in a base class also and constructor in the derived class. What sequence it will be having, it should first call for the, or when you are going to go for the execution, first it will execute the constructor of base class, then constructor of derived class. Now fifth consideration, fifth possibility is what, that is if we are going to have the multiple constructor, that means what, here we are having it as constructor with some arguments. Okay, so as you can observe it here, so here we are using with the first constructor, which is without any arguments, and in the same class we are having one more constructor with some arguments. So this it will be called as parameterized constructor. Okay, so which is having with some parameters as a part of it. Okay, so functions also, when you are using the function overloading, so there we are having with some reference variables, okay, or local variables. So these are accessible only for this class A, integer A as a part of it. But what is the rule that we are having? If I'm using a parameterized constructor, then if you are using it for the base class, then definitely it should be a part of your base class also. So base class is should have parameterized constructor, okay, or it should have a parameter to be passed, which is acquiring for it. Okay, so output it will be shown. So what we are having in the main, we are having same thing, that is we are calling for this, but that object is having with some parameter, some value which you are going to pass for this. Okay, so what output it will be having? So just we'll see with this. Just let me check I'm having this example or not. With the multiple constructor. Okay. Yes. So we'll make a change for this. First, I'll share with this screen. Right. This one. So what we are doing for this? So if you are able to see, I'll just increase the font size. So what we did for this? That is just a moment. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay. So when you are supposed to have with this a class A as constructor for this, which is a without any arguments constructor will be called, and one which we are having it as with some argument. And in the derived class we are having that same with the one argument, but it is a part of a derived class. And here what we are doing, we are taking with the variable as that variable we are going to show as out what we are having in this. Okay, and while actual execution we are passing that actual value for it, variable that we are having for that actual value will be passed. Okay, so what output it will be showing, just to see. Okay, so what output it is showing for this, that is first statement, it is from no arguments from base class, that is what it is a part of your this statement, right? And next it will be one argument which is from the derived class and with the actual value. So b3, 3 is the value which we are actually passed for this, and for that output it will be showing it as, right? So when we are, what is the meaning of this? When we are going to call, it will call for default constructor as this. Okay, while taking it as output, when you are going for this, it will be taking it as default constructor which will be called as with, which is a without any parameter. It will take with the parameter, but we can say it as it will be part of your derived class. Getting it? So while showing the output, you are not able to see with the part or the statement which you are printing it in the derived, sorry, your as a part of your parameterized constructor from base class. Okay, so it will be showing the part parameterized constructor as a reference that you are going to have, and that reference variable which is holding the actual value which you have passed at a runtime. okay, or in the main, whatever the value that you are going to pass, which will be displayed as a part of your output. Getting it? So these are the possibilities. We'll be having few more possibilities for introducing this constructor. Okay, because when you are going to have a single inheritance, where you will be having, now here we are using mainly for single inheritance, and for that single inheritance, how we are going to use this. But if I'm going to have it some multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, how behavior it will be having as a part of your constructor, that we'll see. But that we'll see it in the next further sessions. Okay. Hope you are clear with this today's concept for virtual class. Okay, so I'll just summarize the thing. We have seen with the virtual class, that is virtual inheritance, then we have seen virtual function, and then we have started with the next part as a constructor. So constructor is a somewhat different part, but which is having the relevance with the your inheritance. Okay with this. So today we'll stop at this point. Okay, we have started late, 5-10 minutes, so that's why I extended it for 5 minutes. Hope uh, I'll be taking the session with some precise time. I'll not extend the time. I know we'll be having with the lunch session for this. Okay, so we'll end with this. Thank you. You can start putting the attendance in the chat window. Meanwhile, I will wait if anyone is having any doubts. Please start putting the attendance, and the session, it will be free for discussion. You can unmute your mic, and you can discuss if you want to having any issues. Now don't put the things on the chat window, because we'll be having attendance. I'll be having attendance on the chat window. So directly you can interact with me. No any doubts related with this programs? I'll put these programs on the WhatsApp group. Don't worry about it. Why I'm not giving it during the session? Because what does so it will be better for you if you'll try to see these programs uh, with your actual contents. Okay, so I have seen with the Moodle, we are having sir has put the things on the Moodle, and hope you all are getting the access for the Moodle. I'll put these PDF books also on the Moodle, as you can get it free also, but still as it is a part of your textbook, so I can put these books also on the PDF, sorry, on the Moodle, and just have a overview of this, whatever the things which you are seeing during our sessions. आपण जे आता सेशन मध्ये जे काय बघतोय त्याच्यानुसार ते पॉइंट बुक्स मध्ये बघा, स्टार्ट रीडिंग विथ दिस simultaneously, and you'll get more examples in that books also. Is it okay with this practice? Start simultaneously doing with these things as and when we'll finish with the concept, so that it will be better, and start putting your own notes also if it is possible, because I'm going to give the notes, but if you'll prepare it with your understanding, it will be more easy for you to get it used as a part when you are going to give the exams or anything. Okay, so no any doubts? That means what, you are getting the things. काही ऑलरेडी झालं होतं constructor. Any one of you can just respond. Constructor पण पार्ट झाला होता का?
येस सर, झाला होता.
कन्स्ट्रक्टर पण झाला होता. कुठंपर्यंत ऍक्च्युअली झालं होतं सरांचं सांगून, म्हणजे त्यानुसार मला लक्षात येईल की बाबा नवीन पॉईंट आपण जो घेतोय तो तुम्हाला हा कन्स्ट्रक्टरचा पूर्ण झाला होता का? हा कन्स्ट्रक्टर आणि डिस्ट्रक्टर दोन्ही पण झालं होतं.
दोन्ही पण झालं होतं.
डिस्ट्रक्टर पण झालेलं होतं. ओके, ठीक. Okay, so it might be a revision for you, but it will be better. We'll go with the sequence. Okay, so I think you are finding the difference in the way of delivering the session, and if you are feeling any suggestions, you are free to give it. It is fast or it is too slow. Okay, you are knowing the things concept, so that it might be feeling you kind of boring, but I'm trying to get it with some more examples, so that it will be better for you to get these to be molded for many examples. Okay, so okay with this. Hope you are understood with this all, and I'm going to put the things on the WhatsApp group. Okay. Okay. Thank you. You can leave the meeting if you are not having any doubts. I will wait if anyone is remaining for giving the attendance. बाकीच्यांनी लीव्ह केली तरी चालेल. मी अजून फक्त अटेंडन्स कोणाची राहिली आहे का बघतो आणि आय विल एंड विथ द मीटिंग. ओके. Okay. Thank you.